Thank you so much, and it is great to be here. I can't believe I'm starting my 23rd season here at Maryland. It sure has really changed. It's been very different since I first got here in 2002. I can't say enough about the work that our staff put in this past spring through recruiting as well as the transfer portal. I can say the same with the return of our players, with the time and the effort that they put into building this deep, talented roster to be able to show recruits what we're all about. I also can't thank our administration enough for their continued support of our team and our program. It's going to be an exciting year. 10 of our 15 players are new, so we spent this summer getting really comfortable with one another, both on and off the court. We were able to take an incredible experience to be able to go to Croatia, which was invaluable. Being able to have 10 practices, games, and a ton of bonding in another country is a chance of a lifetime. We returned 2 of our top 3 scorers that were both all Big Ten honorees in both Shai and Bree, to be able to have that core coming back to uphold our standard and uphold our leadership and our values is really, really important. Really excited about Allie Kubik. I think you all remember the game that she had, last game in the NCAA tournament, and she's really taken off since that game, coming out consistent every single day, confident, and going to be invaluable for our team. We also welcome all Big Ten first team honoree Kayleen Smeichel. Coming from Rutgers, I think you got a little taste yesterday to be able to see she's a big-time scorer that's going to have an immediate impact. She can score it at all 3 levels. We also bring in Atlantic 10 Player of the Year with Sarah Tibiasu, who gives us a true ultimate point guard. Can score it, can pass it, really high IQ. We also have co-Big East Defensive Player of the Year coming from Villanova with Christina Dulce, who gained invaluable experience this past summer with playing 3-on-3 internationally. She's a rebounder, a defender, a shot blocker, and going to be really, really impressive in our transition game. Sailor Poffenberger, we welcome her back home. Long time overdue. Double-double coming out of the SEC. She's our connector. She's the one that kind of puts it all together, and we're excited to have her back. We also love the fact that we've been able to, bring in 6'6" Amari DeBerry as well as Mir McLean. When you talk about their winning championship mentality, their rebounding, and again, to be able to extend that depth for us on the roster. We also added 3 freshmen with Kendall, Bree, and Ava. And what I love about these 3 is they all come in having won championships. They have a winner's mentality, not afraid to work, and have really been impressive as a class coming in. Our schedule this year, you're going to see a lot, 12 games against NCAA tournament teams, including Duke and Syracuse in our non-conference play. For those of you guys that remember, bringing back an ACC opponent with Duke and the rivalries that we had is going to be a lot of fun in that game. We have 9 games this year against 8 Sweet 16 teams throughout the tournament. That's going to prepare us for conference play. And we're also going to welcome, right here into Xfinity, Duke, UCLA, USC, and Ohio State coming to College Park. So it's a great time for all of us. We're looking forward to, getting out into real competition when we start. And I'll open it up to any questions.
Hey, Coach. Ben Geffner, Diamondback. Can you talk a little bit more about this summer and the transfer portal process as a whole? What was the largest focus in recruiting and securing some of these players?
I think, I can't say enough about our staff and our team. It was a lot of hard work when you talk about that time that you have in the transfer portal. But for us, it was, being able to go after where we felt we had some deficiencies last year. I think you can see that with the size, the rebounding, the depth, the three-point shooting, the scoring ability, having an ultimate true point guard. And I think, just the availability in the roster, within the portal, I should say, there were a lot more players that we were able to go in and be able to really fit to our program.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. I wanted to ask about the rotations because obviously you have a lot of players this year, as you talked about, a lot of different options. How are you sorting through what lineups you want to run out there? Is it something you've kind of determined yet, or is it still the preseason trying to figure it out?
Yeah, no, I've shared with the team what things look like right now on October 21st. Probably in another 30 days is going to look a lot different, and even by the time you get to conference play. And I think you could see that even from the summer. We had a lot of players that weren't able to play in Croatia that are now able to get into practice and to be able to play into games. We still have some players that are working themselves back into the fold coming off of injuries. So, it's just continue to put your head down and go into work. I think for us as a staff, with 10 new faces, you're really trying to learn, who's your best inbounder, who's your best at the top of the press, who's your best rebounder, who's going to be great in late game, and those are going to be things that evolve throughout the season.
Brenda, last season for you guys in terms of just regular season wins, tournament performance was obviously not the season you guys wanted to have. What did you maybe take away or learn most from that experience, just in terms of what you have to be as a coach in college basketball now?
I think, you saw patience was a big thing, but I'm really proud of our staff. I'm proud of our players. I didn't think we got too high or too low within the season. Extremely difficult when you have the amount of losses that we had last season, because we're not used to that, nor do we ever want to be used to that. But I thought through that journey, just continuing, the biggest lessons that you learn is to keep putting your head down and being able to work. And so to ultimately be able to beat the #1 seed in the Big Ten tournament with Ohio State, be able to make the NCAA tournament, be able to build off of that. I'm proud of our returners for coming back and understanding how competitive it was going to be this season, that they were going to need to be better. And ultimately, putting this roster together with this kind of competition is really, really good for us.
And going off that, you kind of touched on it, but how did you apply those lessons that you learned to how you approach this offseason and how you kind of constructed this roster?
Well, I think for our staff, we were very intentional, and we got to spend a season knowing where our strengths were and where our weaknesses were at. So we were really intentional that we knew what we needed to go get if it was available, and fortunately for us, it was in the transfer portal. And I can't say enough, the pieces that we were able to get were all the right pieces, and it's going to be fun and exciting to be able to see how that unfolds this season.
Also going off that, bringing in 7 transfers from different programs, different systems across the country, how do you get everyone on the same page?
I think it's really important through your coaching staff, your bonding experience. And like I said, the fact that we got such a great advantage this past summer, being able to start our practices in June, our team building and bonding, when you get to go away on a trip and spend that amount of time together in your summer versus waiting until your non-conference play and your travel comes into effect. So, we were we are every single day. I mean, these are rosters now that are one-year rosters. And so the team building and the bonding piece for us is going to be something that we do all the time. It's always been a part of our culture and our program. We never want to let our standard, change here at Maryland. So that's always going to be who we are.
I know you I know it's still a little bit of a ways away, but can you kind of talk about, what are some of the challenges you expect to face in the expanded Big Ten, and, have you been able to discuss those with your staff so far?
The challenges, and I've spoken to, are the fact of how critical every single game is going to be. You only have one double, so every game, when you only get to play once, that's going to impact you in the standings. So depending on, for some, they have a weak double partner that's going to allow them to have 2 wins. So, for us, we're going to be battle tested. We're going to play Ohio State. And, those games are going to prepare you for postseason, which I love. But just understanding the value. You can't show up to a conference game and not give it your best because those games are ultimately going to impact you. I've said this before. Every game in conference play is going to feel like the NCAA tournament. But on the flip side of that, it's going to prepare you for the NCAA tournament and your seeding in postseason.
Coach, what does this freshman class, along with new transfers, bring and add to the table now?
I love the freshman class and the transfers. I'll say, first of all, the gratitude piece. I think they come in with a work ethic, a place of gratitude, understanding that the staff just wants to push them to be the very best, and they want to be pushed. And I just love the competitiveness. They all bring in a championship pedigree. They've won a lot, and that adds to our culture and our program.
Hey, Coach, with the amount of new faces you have in the building, how important is it to have someone like Shai that's been here for years now, that knows, not only has played so many games for you, but knows your process and has been in the building for so long?
Yeah, I always say, when you're fortunate enough to have players that have been with you for 2-3 years,